start with Jubei.
Who are you talking as first?
Well, oh, I wonder. Let me just.
Oh, that's fair. You could probably only do one character.
Yeah.
Just mimics with feathers the whole time.
He can write what he thinks about them.
True.
Dear
A
You know,
single
actually,
word.
no, perfect. Here, let me go through with Tix first. Basically, he would just continuously whack his sign with every word that he has to say, to the point where it goes by a little bit too fast, but it's still somewhat coherent if you have fast enough eyes. But basically, his opinions on Jubei is that apparently I am being echoed.
There we go.
Sorry. Okay, but with Jubei, it's kind of like, for his case, I'll speak in my voice in this particular case, but for his case, I will speak in technical first person, I suppose. In his personality. So he's like the leader, I suppose. I haven't really seen too much of the taking initiative, a little bit, that being said, when it came to Gaston and his pompous ass. God, I don't even know why he's even here to begin with. He better not step on my plans. But that's besides the point. Don't know why he's head over heels and everything else that fucking human anatomy allows with that one chick, Davia. Really, really dense. I don't fucking understand why he's so head over heels. Has to do something. I don't know. Maybe he's screwed in the head. I don't really know.
I mean, have you seen her?
He's a Kenku. He doesn't.
I'm a Kenku.
He's not interested.
Continue.
But but yeah, it's just like I don't get it. I've never understood anybody above fucking 4 feet anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But oh shit, you guys have 2 characters. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Victor, on the other hand, a lot more my speed. It's so nice to see somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about at, generally speaking, all times. Like, yeah, he's a bit friendly with everyone. Sometimes, from what I've heard, a little bit too friendly. But that being said, his companionship is rather much enjoyable, I will say. The others can be, for lack of a better term, exasperating, annoying, and loud, but generally speaking, they are all tolerable. But Victor, I would definitely say, is a cut above the rest, as a man of science as well. Though, that being said, the necromancy is a little bit odd, but I don't give too much thought into it. I do robots, he does skeletons. There's a big difference, but either way, it's all in the name of science, so who really actually cares? Hilani, didn't see too much. She absolutely did a number on Exarch, that's for sure. Definitely would not like to catch her in a situation like that. I wish I would have probably been able to actually maybe study her in battle had I actually gotten that far if it weren't for a specific someone. But that is all past me now. Sort of. Anyways. Everin, the one who immediately tried to hug me and later dragged me. I still, frankly, sometimes feel kinks in my arm because of that. A bit gung-ho, very much like a dumb puppy, I'd say that one. Don't exactly understand why she's so energetic. That being said, I suppose with the electricity coursing through her veins, it makes a little bit more sense as to why that is. She has golden blood. Don't really know too much about that demigod shit. Frankly, I didn't even really care about the gods to begin with. Didn't even think they actually existed. So I guess this is like a whole cultural shock thing, though I really don't care. I stick to my science. She can stick with her magic. That being said, it's very powerful magic. Good thing she's not actually hearing any of this, because I will totally try to get her to power some of my machines in the later date. But, yeah, no. But that being said, I'm not going to be unfair. That is not how I do things. I say dumb puppy because yes, while she is a bit ditzy, she's also a very good soul, and that's like weird because everyone's kind of in it for themselves, but oddly enough, she's like throwing slumber parties during a tournament. I can't really articulate what's going on through this girl's head. I don't want to, but she's a good soul. I'll say that much, I suppose. Cassandra, on the other hand, oh God, how does she do it? How does she make that fucking mechanical dog? I want to. Oh man, one of these days, if I could just have a bit of time, just reverse engineer and see everything that's going on within the mechanics and then the strings that somehow she's be able to manipulate and whatnot. I mean, I just use homunculus. I forgot how. Homunculus. Yeah, that's right. I just use a homunculus and whatnot with a bit of an in between of nature and machine. But seriously though, it is just so impressive. I don't even know how she does it. And apparently, from what I've seen from some of those beakers, she took a very similar approach to science in the way that I did. But she's like amazing. So I'm really interested to see what is all going on with there. I don't know. Just every single time I see her and I see her fucking mechanical dog, I lose it. I don't know. Like it's like state of the art type stuff that just walks around. Like, yeah, my bird is kind of top notch as well. Admittedly, it's wonderful. One of my best creations. But that dog, it's a close second, maybe. Anyways. Davia. If looks could kill, not speaking about her actual aesthetic appearance, I could honestly give less of a shit. I'm speaking more so as the fact that she's proven to more or less be lethal in just about every single situation that I've seen her in. Her words are lethal, her body's lethal. Her behavior is lethal. Definitely her fucking attitude. I've seen the way that she treats other people. That is, the fire does not end at the tail of a tiefling. That is for sure. But other than that, I don't know. She has that boy Jubei wrapped around her finger like a damn ring, like the ring she probably also has. Now that I think about it, got coin out of me that one time. Still not entirely sure what that was about. Don't really care. I have more, but I don't know. She's an interesting character as far as it goes. And that being said, she also seems to have a pretty good high standing of herself, which I can personally respect. Self-respect, confidence. It's very much an admirable trait on others that I can definitely admire. Even though she does sometimes just use me for the sake of the fact that she gets to hear her own voice again, which isn't the first time I've ever been in that rodeo, but I mean, who actually gives a fuck? I sure don't. I just really wish we could have pulled that prank on Estevan, though. That would have been so good. Ayla. I mean, again, don't really care about religion. It's kind of weird, though, because out of all the Bible thumpers that I've actually seen, this one actually doesn't really. I mean, then again, she did turn into like a psycho freak and try to attack the one other Bible thumper inside of the party. Don't know his name. Don't care. But yeah, that was kind of surprising, I admit. Victor was pretty concerned. I guess they're like close or whatever, so that kind of makes sense. Well, not really, but sort of. It's weird. I don't really understand, again, how the humanoids, of that kind, at least, pink skins, I don't fucking know, do it. But, I don't know. I have no clue. All I know is that I don't know. Like I said, with Davia, she holds herself very fucking high, and then we have Ayla, who, I mean, like, her self-confidence is about as short as I am. Let's just say that. Don't exactly know what that's all about. Again, don't really care that much, but she could definitely use an improvement to her self-image. Not sure how exactly that will happen, but hopefully, eventually, that might come to pass. No clue. Cinder. See, this is what I mean by beneficial relationships, because had I not been around Victor around that time, then I probably wouldn't be able to see the magical and scientific spectacle that is a Warforged. I am beyond excited to see what I can potentially do with such a being. That being said, I'm not going to be entirely experimental. I understand that it is a procedure and that I will be 100% careful. That being said, I mean, I can't poke the cerebellum a little bit. Mess with the lobes is a tiny. Fine. Whatever. I guess she's like a useful piece to the party or whatever. I wouldn't have to break the deal that I made with Jubei. Complete killjoy. Whatever. I'll keep my hands clean. I mean, I normally do anyway, but that being said, fine, okay, I won't even get a damn sample. I don't know. I'll just ask her to give me a coin or some shit. Maybe I can convince her. I don't know. And then Estevan. Normally, I'm not very good with names, but when somebody proudly announces their full fucking name to every single guest at the dinner table, it's kind of hard not to. And then, of course, later with the infamous battle we had, it was utterly humiliating, losing in front of those idiots. I don't even know exactly how it happened. All I know is that all of a sudden his hand was up and I was falling down into the dirt. Gladly, one of them decided to catch me. That would have been disastrous otherwise. My bones are very, very hollow. But, yeah, not exactly a big fan of him after what he did. But he seems to have the sense in him, very much in contrast with what he wears, because you would assume someone would not have sense if they literally dress up like a beacon. But he seems to have the sense to want to improve, and I suppose I can be forgiving enough to maybe give him that benefit. He does have admittedly strong magics that I have seen when they actually work. So we'll see what happens there. But no promises. And fuck that nano guy.
A twin? What does Tick think a twin?
Again, Tix is just like, okay, another Bible thumper. Seems to be pretty obsessed with death. Don't really know his entire problem is. I remember that everybody kind of left the room. Ayla ran out of it after they had talked with him or something. Don't really know what that's all about. Like I had said, I am a man of science. I am an atheist. I don't really care too much about religion in this particular case. I understand that there's the whole demigods thing or whatever, but I mean, again, yeah, they're demigods, but, you know, it'd be nice if, you know, Setsuna, apparently Everin's fucking mother, would have stepped in during that entire encounter. Guess she wouldn't care, but, I mean, I guess gods are kind of fucking everybody these days, so I'm not surprised. Whatever. Again, don't really know his deal. Don't really care. But from what I understand, he seems to have some capabilities with keeping people, well, you know, not dead. So that's already a pretty beneficial use. Hopefully I might be able to mooch some things off of him. Like that thing. I still can't master that one revival thing. Maybe I can learn the thing off of what he does. I don't know. He seems to pinch dirt a lot, so maybe that's the key. I have no idea, but chemistry is hard. Alchemy is even harder, and I have a headache. Anyways, time to prepare for Ascender.
Throws a notepad in frustration.
Just imagine him and Victor start washing up in their Frankenstein lab outfits.
Plastic gloves that look like, again, feathers, wings. But Twin's opinion on everyone, I'll try to keep it short because I am going through two characters, so my apologies.
Should we alternate between, like,
We
should go
could.
through?
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'll go next then, I guess.
I love this. I'm sorry, but I love this so much.
So which one do you want, Jubei or Victor?
You pick.
Okay,
Jubei?
Jubei then. So I'll do as I did before, where I'll start at the bottom of the list and work the way up. Jubei go, this is a very interesting day with the meeting of new friends and all the like. I would have to say my first impressions of my new friend Twin has been one of great interest. he is a very insightful man, one who has great knowledge to share, and a kind heart. He strikes me as one who would be more than willing to sacrifice much to help others. And in fact, I saw him do this very thing for Helene in the field where he had injured himself to heal her very wounds. His kindness when we had to bury our former nemesis of a man was
Excerpt.
Exart was very kind and gentle. He is a good man. One I look forward to continuing a friendly relationship with and getting to know. Perhaps he and I should speak of the gods of Nippon. He seems like he may be interested in such things. And, of course, I would always enjoy working in the gardens with him. It is nice to have company out there. As for our new friend Tick, he is a strange fellow, I would guess. Harmless and friendly, a little mischievous. I get this weird feeling he looks down upon me, especially when Davia is around. I guess I can't really blame him for that. I will admit I am not normally at my best at times when Davia is nearby. But in any case, it is a good feeling. I'm sure he will be very useful. Victor seems to be singing his praise for how useful he can be. Speaking of which, Victor, well, I definitely like the little man. Charming, friendly, a little obsessed with the undead, but to each their own, I suppose. I mean, he means no harm by it, and as he says, he doesn't intend to use them for evil, and I have a feeling that I agree with that statement. I mean, so far he has used them so far to build toys for children and run the carnival games. I have a feeling, though, he keeps having this weird idea of trying to set people up with one of his daughters at times. I've seen him do it a couple of times with people in the village as well. It very strange boy, man, you should say. Tends to think of everybody as a bit younger than him, which I suppose at 200 years old, most of us, if not all of us, are. Then there's Helene. Well, I have to get a bit of a read on her first. I have yet to see much with her. I was hoping to have a word with her this morning to discover what she was doing here and perhaps if she wished to remain. She definitely impressed me with her fight with Exart and the ability. She was able to do great damage and is quite the duelist. Perhaps she would like to have a duel with me. It would be a very interesting experience, I admit. Always good to have another powerful warrior in the group. And, of course, there's sweet little Everin. She's, well, she's like the little sister I never did have, and part of me honestly kind of wanted when I was younger. She's sweet, innocent, but has a fierce strength to her when she gets ready for it. She has grown greatly since when I first met her in the village, and has today, especially with the tournament, has proven to be very capable. And in all honesty, I am very, very glad she is here. She will one day most likely lead this country or this city when I am no longer necessary for war. And I would believe I
It is, honestly. I love it.
thank you.
I'm dying.
It is a way of great honor and hope that I believe she will be a great leader for these people. And I hope that I will see the day she can take over this position. Because honestly, I don't fucking want it. Now, as for Cass, I know very little about her at the moment again. She is still fairly new to the castle, but Victor seems to be very interested in her. I know why. I have absolutely no opinion on that one way or the other. But her robotic animal is quite amazing and strikes me as something I too would very much like to learn about. I believe she would be an asset to this castle. Her knowledge and wisdom rival that of Bicta himself, and as well as Atik. I believe in Cinder. With the four of them, I believe we could come up with some amazing inventions, perhaps things well enough to help us battle this war we are finding ourselves slowly approaching. Then there's Davia. Enough said. Anyway,
Damn.
okay, to be honest, Davia is, well, Davia is the person I admire the most in the party for many reasons, though.
What'd you say?
You cut out.
Oh, I said Davia is the person I admire the most in the party for numerous reasons. And at the same time, the person that worries me the most for numerous reasons. Her strength, her courage, her tenacity. These are things that I find most attractive about her. And it doesn't help the fact that she's a bombshell in every sense of the word. But to be frank, she has helped me as a person pull myself out of my darkest moments of my life. Part of me wonders if I would still be here today if I had not met Davia. I think that day I met Skygor would have been my last day if I had nothing to return to. But that is neither here nor there at the moment. All I can hope is that I can help Davia as much as she has helped me. I think I have. I hope I have done at least a little. But I will continue to do so. As for Ayla, Ayla is complex to say the least at the moment. I care for Ayla greatly. She is a good friend. She works herself far too hard and thinks too little of herself at times. But
You keep cutting out.
am I? Oh, I don't know why. I'll track you back. Ayla is someone I care for, is a good friend, and someone who treats herself too harshly. I hope that she is someone who would be very much willing to grow, and with everything going on has been very complex. To be fair, Ayla is a good friend and one person I would gladly have at my side in a fight. She's kind and she is gentle. She cares for others, perhaps even to a point of detrimentalness, I admit. Her moment, though, with his vampirism worries me greatly in so many ways. It is my fondest hope that I can help her with the others to bring herself and make her realize that despite this change, she is still herself. She's the Ayla we have met, and the person we all care for, and one I'd be more than willing to die beside if things came the worst. Cinder, now. There is an interesting personality. Frankly, the only one of the few people I know who is worse with people than myself, but in a charming way, I suppose. Very methodical, very brilliant. A little obsessed with fire, perhaps, but no more than Victor is obsessed with the undead, or Everin is obsessed with lightning, and I come to think about it, I'm starting to notice a pattern with our spellcasters. But in any case, I believe that they will do great things, and Cinder will hopefully be able to help us grow. We'll have to see about getting that door open as well now that that whole situation with Estevan is over. Or not Estevan, Gaston is over. And, well, then we have Estevan. He is a very charming man. One of the most charming I have ever met. I hope that we will be able to open up the trade relations with him and his family as he has hoped. Though I at times wonder about him. He is open and friendly, but at the same time, he makes me a little nervous. He is one who very easily speaks his mind, but at the same time seems to be hiding things. Perhaps not if as open as others, perhaps inadvertently, if not open. Time will tell with him. He is still new, and I will need to figure this out, of course. But in any case, I suppose that is enough for today's diary. Okay, Helani, you
Yay!
next.
Oh, Halani, let's go!
Do I have to go?
No, you don't.
No,
You
you don't want to. You can hold off.
Do you want to save it for when Hilani knows everyone more?
Something like that, I guess.
No rush. Everin.
I'm writing something passionate.
Okay. Davia.
There. No, I finished.
Seemingly.
I finished.
I'm writing something passionate.
She would keep it in a small frame, making a small hiding place in the temple, and had it there next to a picture of Kyros. The small hall is engraved with our heroes.
Hmm.
And it's like almost the centerfold where any party member or anyone close to the party, if they're dead, they will have a portrait and a memorial there.
Aw.
It's paternity art.
Mm-hmm. So they always be with us. And
So,
I just,
Everin?
yeah. Well, I don't know who to start with. I didn't really do this, but Twin, I guess we're just gonna start first. He's nice and all. He helped me find out that I was strong in my own way, not like Davia or well Jubei, but in my own. I freak out a lot way, but I still do it anyways, and I really needed that, and I didn't know, but I do appreciate him. I don't know what would have happened if he wasn't here. I don't really want to know what happened because I don't think I'd be able to face Gaston like I did. And I thank him for that, and I need to probably stop keeping him out so much. I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably too fancy with people, anyways. But that's besides the point. Tick. I don't think he likes me. I did call him. I didn't mean to be mean to him. It's just I'd never seen a Kenku before, and he looked really fluffy. And I do feel a little bit bad, but just so fluff. And I don't know. I really don't think he likes me, and he's just there. I guess he's not. I don't know. He's really smart and stuff, and I appreciate that. But I don't really get to talk to him that much. But Jubei. Jubei. He's like a brother to me almost, like someone I can look up to, and I do appreciate having him here. And I just wish he'd stop doubting me sometimes. I doubt myself, and I already deal with that a lot. But I don't know if it's technically him doubting me, but it's more of like I don't know. I want him to assume that I can do it myself. But I don't know if that's okay or not, but whatever. He's really nice, and he's helped me through a lot, and he's been like a brother that I always wanted to have. Well, I did technically have them, but they're kind of not really the nicest or would do anything for me. But I'm very happy that he's here, and I'm also very happy that he made me second in command. I don't know why he did that though, but I do appreciate it, and I just hope I don't run this city to the ground, which I probably will do. Victor though, I love him so much. He's super nice. The undead's still pretty weird though. I'm not used to that, but I guess that's okay. But he's really nice to me, and he's like a dad without mine being actually here. So I really do like him, and he's super smart, and I love him a lot. I don't know. He's just nice, and I love him. I do. With Cass though, she's like weird, kind of. I don't know. Like I always have to make sure that she's eating and stuff, and I always have to bring food to her room. But I think she's starting to like me a little bit. I don't know. I'm very confused, but I always make sure to bring her some food and some water, and I always have to remind her that she has to do bodily human stuff, and she seems to appreciate that, but also seems to be a bit annoyed. But that's just how she is. But she's okay though. She's a bit weird though because she's just always doing something. Like she can't stop not doing something. And I'm really worried about her, but I don't know. I think I should bring it up with the others. Davia, oh dear. Ah, Davia's Davia. Hot-headed, shoots me all the time, but I did kind of need her in the beginning. But now that I think about it, she didn't help me all that much. I think she was one of the people who actually hindered me from growing as a person, but I do appreciate her trying to help me. But it wasn't what I needed to become stronger. And I can respect that. That's how she became stronger, but I'm not her. And I hope for her to see that I'm strong in my own way and that soon she might be able to be strong enough to deal with things on her own like I have. And it feels kind of weird though because she still has the more confidence than I do, but in actuality, I have it almost all together based on her, and I just feel really sad, but also like I don't know, and it's just I'm really concerned about her. And the second I say that, she's gonna shoot me, and I don't want to get shot again. Ayla though, Ayla's like my best friend. I love her so much. She's really nice to me, and I say that for everyone. I love them so much. They're like big family, and I love them a lot. And I'm really worried about her. And I don't know what to think. And I'm really worried because she's not taking care of herself either. And I need to make sure she's okay and that she's always been there for me. And so I have to be there for her now. But I should talk to her more. Okay. I need to do that because I need to care about people more. Okay. Yeah. I need to do that. Writes that down probably. Probably going to figure it in the next second or two. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Esteban seemed to know, and that's just really creepy. I don't even know what these things are. I don't know. It was weird, but I don't judge her for that. We all have our weird things that we do, you know. Like Juby has a hand problem, and like, she just has a vampire problem. There's nothing wrong with that. It just happens. We'll deal with it though. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine, right? Yeah. Cinder. She's like one of my best friends too. Like she's so awesome. She's really cool, and like I really like her. She hugs everyone, my dude. Come on.
Continue.
Sorry, but it's just kind of I don't know. Like I want her to take care of herself more, and I think she is kind of human, but like she's kind of like an exort thing or whatever. But like I need to make sure she's okay. It's the same thing as Cass, and I can't take care of them both myself, and it really sucks. But I don't know what to do half the time because she doesn't care about herself. And like she tries to not cry. Okay, I'm okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Why did they make me do this? But yeah, Cinder, yeah, she's okay. She's gonna be okay. I'll make sure she's okay. I love her very much, and she's like one of my best friends and stuff like that. And I love them all. Okay, and why am I breaking down? Okay, Esteban though, he's kind of creepy. I like him. I know like he's full of shit half the time, but I pretend not to notice. And he's just I don't trust him, but no, he's a friend, and I have to put a smile on my face and be like, no, this dude's fine. He's okay. He's good. And no. I don't know. He's just so shady. And like, but no, I need to be nice to him, and This shadiness is just a part of him, okay? I have to accept it and think that he's better, okay? That's just if I do something, he's just gonna think I'm trying to one up him or whatever. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. And let's just be like Gaston is. I mean, sorry, not that kind of. Esteban is like, oh, he's so much smarter than me. Blah blah blah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally, my dude. Yeah, I'm just gonna deal with that. He's cool though. He's kind of nice though. He's still really shady.
I love how she had to reiterate that a couple times.
Esteban.
Hashtag fuck Esteban.
He's so nice though. It's just there's just something wrong. I don't know what it is. Just something shady about him. Just so shady, like practically. I don't know.
All right. Who should I start with?
Ugh, don't do Davia. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But I don't want to hear Davia.
Davia will be a roast session.
Davia! Now! It's too good.
I mean, should I do Davia?
Sure,
Yes.
if you want to do Davia, that's fine.
All right.
I'm
Sounds
ready
good
for
to
the
me.
roast. Oh, so wait, before that, what did you guys think of what everyone said about you all?
I liked it.
Like I
She always
said,
has an existential crisis. She always does have one.
She was literally just slipping into the whole, oh my god, my friends have problems. They're not talking about them.
She lives and breathes existential crisis.
Right.
That's literally her.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Where are we doing this again? Whatever. All right. I guess start off easy. Twin, don't know him. Irrelevant. Tick. Tick is sort of like a pet I never asked for. He seems a bit attached to me at times. Not that I blame him, of course. Have you seen me? But what's that?
Literally just me just saying I.
At least, at the very least, it's good to see that he knows how to have a bit of fun. What with the whole floating hubbub that happened. Past that, though, I don't know much about him. He seems to enjoy his science nonsense. Can't swim very well. Clung on to me like a crab, so that was an interesting experience. Past that, though, I don't know much about him. I get the sense that his science is literally him, and that's it. Probably is not that interesting past that. By the way, I'm going to apologize to all of you guys ahead of time as I talk with her.
This is everything.
I love it.
Going now next to Big Bear. Big Bear is a good place to get alcohol when I need it for free. He can be a amusing conversationalist when it comes to more private talks, and so her kind of giving a little waggle of her brows at that. Provided some interesting information in that regard. Other than that, though, I don't really know much about Victor past his desire for furthering his necromancy knowledge and his weird obsession for his kids and for tall women. Not that I can really blame him. I mean, tall women are not too hard on the eyes, that is true, but I'm not as obsessed as he is. God, you right, Jubei. Jubei is, how do I phrase this without being mean? A stubborn bastard. It is a little annoying at times, but at the same time, I'm grateful for it. And so her kind of go looking around at that, and then. he has brought out a side of myself that I am was not aware of. It comes out a lot more when we are talking one-on-one. Has turned me into a bit of a sap, was it a little annoying. But he's a good man. And there has never been a point in my life where I could ever say that about any man. But he's... And so her just kind of like fiddling a bit with her origami earrings. He's I said enough about him. Moving on. Helani, who's that? All right, Everin. Again, I'm sorry, Everin.
I don't know her.
Exactly. Everin. Oh god, Everin. Another pet I never asked for, but I found her very obnoxious at first. I mean, I still find her very obnoxious. That hasn't changed, to be quite frank. At the very least, she has sort of established herself sort of as family. I would say I've got the scar to show it, but that's been healed up, and so her looking at as obnoxious as she is, if she's in trouble, it's sort of my obligation now to get her out of whatever shit she's found herself in. But still quite a bit of a coward. But over time it started to change a bit, which I, of course, blame on my wonderful teaching skills. She'll probably still be a sniveling little weenie if not for me. Where was I going with this? Let's see how great I am. Right. At the very least, with all this nonsense that has been going on with this Gerston bastard, she's been handling it as well as one could, I suppose. And honestly, a bit better in some areas in that respect. So, good on her. Enter her shrugging a bit. Cass? Well, she has proven to be quite useful in battle, that is for sure. Not too bad on the eyes, I will admit, either. If this were a number of years ago, I probably... Moving on. Pasta, though, I don't really know much about her personality. She seems very... no-nonsense. Focused on her dog invention sorts. I'm surprised her and Tick don't talk more. But past that, at the very least, if I were to find myself in another battle, I would not mind fighting alongside her. She is rather entertaining and has her uses, as she's proven. Cinder. Could not stand her for a good long period of time, but I get the sense that there is a reasoning for the way that she is and speaks and acts. I'm very curious to learn more, surprisingly enough. Usually I do not care, but this is a little, I guess I could consider it a side project, figuring out what her deal is. I get the sense that she is not as heartless and robotic as she tries to come off as, and that there is actually more deep down that she is trying to keep muffled. And I am very curious to learn more about that side. But past that, there is not much I can say, since most of our conversations involved me trying to plant my fist into her face. Esteban. Esteban is... he is an entertaining sort, that is for sure. He sort of comes off as this sort who tries to act as if he has all his shit together, and then as soon as a wind blows just the right way, he topples a bit and gets flustered. which is, I hope to see a bit more. That is rather entertaining to experience. Still a bit of a shame I didn't actually pick him up and toss him over the edge. That would have been fun. Where was I going with this? Right. I would not mind talking more with him. It is not every day I got to speak with a tiefling. And it seems he is a man cut from the same cloth in a sense that he knows how to play his cards when it comes to other people, which provides interesting entertainment with conversation. Alright, I forgot Ayla. I don't trust her. Out of all the people here, there is no one. People are not that nice without there being some other sort of thing to it. I mean, yes, the vampirism is one thing or another, but all that nonsense about how she didn't know that she was one, I think that's a whole crock of shit. I believe she is just one big lie. Not really understanding why the rest of the party can't really see that, but whatever. They are trusting, sir. Cannot fault them for that, unless it is inconvenient to me, but yes. Honestly, I think this place would be a lot better without her around, but that is me. And yes, that is everyone. Enter her walking out to grab a drink. Thank you.
Amazing.
Cinder Esteban.
Which one?
I can't decide. By the way, that was wonderful because
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid how like how do I even put it? It's stupid to see how much like chagrin like both Davia and Tick has for everyone.
Yeah.
Like they're both such bitches.
Honestly.
But it's funny because they value people completely different. Davia values people on mostly on their entertainment factor, while Tick is on the other hand is like about their intelligence.
Well, you can go Cinder Esteban. I don't mind which one.
Okay.
I'm curious
How
for
is
both.
this thing? Huh?
I was just gonna say I'm curious for both, but go ahead.
How does this work? Is this based off of like thought straight onto paper, or like they can choose what they want to say?
Thought straight on the paper.
Yeah,
Okay,
just their
then
genuine thoughts.
Esteban is completely off the table. There's a lot of things about him that he thinks about everyone else that I cannot say.
You can keep it face value for him then.
But with Cinder's pretty easy. I can. Alright. Twin, he arrived and he seems quite useful and can provide healing to the party, which is always good. Tick. He seems to be quite interested in technology, which is always good. The furtherment of science is definitely one that should be pushed. Although he seems to have a rather weird obsession with me. I might have to keep an eye on that. Jubei. He has been quite accommodating with my stay here. He's a really good leader for everyone else, and quite a good combatant. It is unfortunate that we met our end against something quite unprecedented. I've never really seen that before, with that man who could shift into animals, but it was interesting, to say the least. I'm still confused how this tournament ended up the way it did. After a simple suggestion just to see other people's skills. Victor. Victor comes off as rather annoying at times. He seems to I want to push necromancy into a weird direction that seems rather unneeded. I don't see why someone should use necromancy to basically hold a entertainment, and she says that with distaste, establishment, when it could be used for power instead, but to each their own. He seems rather pressing on what exactly is going on with me. Also seems excited about looking inside, but hopefully there will be no harm done. Kalani, I don't know who that is. Evren was the first friend to reach out. And the first friend that I had probably ever made, I didn't really know the concept or understand it until I met her, nor do I still really understand it, but she's helping. She's quite incessant, making sure that I take care of myself, even though I insist that I am fine. But that's just the way she is. It seems like she insists on everyone else taking care of themselves, although she should probably take care of herself too. Cass, I've not had that much interaction with her, but her mechanical beast is rather interesting. It seems like she is also one cut of science, so
Just to,
maybe-
by the way, I'm sorry for interrupting, but Cass has never really talked to you as a person.
yeah,
She-
which is why Cinder doesn't really have anything to say.
She calls you an it.
I don't. Cinder wouldn't care. Cinder
Alright,
doesn't-
I'm just saying for knowledge sakes.
fair. However,
Continue.
Sorry.
that's fine. Davia.
Again,
It's-
the pause.
The pause is there. Yeah, fair. I think I'm pausing mainly because of the break. I think Cinder would just straight out and say things. With Davia, she took my necklace. And that was something that, for some reason, I'm not quite sure, provoked something. I felt emotion that I never felt before. I never realized it was something that I could experience. After she had given it back, though, however, I didn't really care. It was given back, so that's all I really wanted. She seemed to have harbored a grudge, which I'm confused as to why people do so. But regardless, I believe we have come to a neutral standing. And that poses both as beneficial to my safety, as well as, I guess, a good point in our relationship, I suppose. Ayla. She seems like there is a lot going on for her, and I'm confused why so many people have concerns over so many things. There's not really much to be concerned about, but I digress. What occurred with her felt somewhat familiar for whatever reason. And she's seen and poked at parts of me that I didn't really quite understand, and felt myself losing where I was for a moment at the time when we first interacted. She seems like she is a rather friendly individual. I hope she manages to fix whatever affliction is affecting her. Esteban, when he approached me about magic, I was intrigued to demonstrate. It is clear that he seems very good with people. I'm not sure for what reason exactly. Gives me a very strange feeling. He's tried to inquire about my past, and he seems mysterious. Regardless, I've not really talked much with him other than that conversation. That is all. I'm going to go back to my work now.
I would clap, but I'm on push to talk. What? Interesting. Yeah.
I feel this one is pretty much surface level what you expected.
It was
Yeah.
cute because I could see the deeper thought in some of the people that she knew for longer. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, this is all very much surface level. Like with Davia, for certain people, I had to cut her back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one. I gotta cut that completely. You basically won't know what is even real.
I'm ready. All right, starting back with you, Judah.
One moment. I will be back into my computer in like 2 seconds. So give me a second.
Okay.
What is he doing?
I was moving around the house.
Just hey guys. Do you want some spice?
What?
Do you want some spice?
Some what?
Some spice.
I think spice memes only occur for people who have
I'm
been
back.
around for season 1.
Yeah. If you haven't watched season 1, that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still asking. I still ask random people if they want some space.
Oh, welcome back.
And I'm still.
Hello.
I love season 1. Scanlan is my favorite. I
Oh yeah.
All right, go ahead, Judah.
Oh, hold on, I'm thinking.
Alrighty. And check the Kenku. I do not remember seeing too much, although I did watch his match in the tournament. He seems to get along amicably as far as it goes, but at the same time, it is not hard for me to see a certain level of contempt in his eyes when he looks at most. I can see how it may be misinterpreted as a sort of a childlike gaze, but I feel that something that is oftentimes forgotten is that something so small can still be very much a adult. I am not saying that he is of a bitter type, but I will say that he is definitely abrasive, to say the least. Long story short, though, it is nice to know that another person capable of healing capabilities is within this party, and it is not only me. I would hate to see any of them die before their time, so it is nice to know that he is around. Jubei is essentially the first friend that I have made here. It was up until Esteban had told me that it is actually a possibility that I had decided to try my hand at it. Well, I'm not very good at making friends, but fortunately, Jubei found me. I was simply tending to the garden when he had approached me, and we had a rather nice conversation. Up until then, he's proven nothing to be a rather selfless and truly kind man. A lot that I can look up to, especially considering that the others seem to share a similar position as far as it goes. That being said, he still does have a bit of a, what do you call it? He still is a bit easily distracted, so to speak, by certain means, but his heart seems to always be in the right place, and that is something I can endlessly respect as his friend. But other than that, I don't think I can say too much on him. Helani, well, at first I was underneath the impression that maybe she was an assassin sent to kill Everin, which I would have responded by very quickly decapitating her. But it turns out that that was not the case. In fact, that she was simply only ever here for the tournament. Later, I ended up actually becoming a part of her team, and frankly, I think we worked rather well with one another. She was able to do a lot of cleaving damage, taking off Exarch's armor rather very quickly, but unfortunately, given his healing, he was able to outpace us, even after I had given her a fraction of my soul to allow her to move on forward in this trying bit. I cannot say much else other than that, but other than that, I will say that she does come off to me as rather interesting. It's only a matter of time until I'm able to have more of a conversation with her, which I admit do look forward to an extent. Right, Victor. I almost forgot. My apologies. Victor is an interesting one, definitely. I remember that when I had first gotten here, I was warned about necromancy, and I found out later that it seemed to be about him. And, well, normally, in most cases, I would smite without question, but in this particular case, he seemed to have a bit more of a abstract type of interest in it, which I thought personally was very, very intriguing. Now, I do understand that him and Ayla do fight a lot on their opinions concerning such, but I will say at least this is that I appreciate the things that he does, especially when I see the way that he conversates with the others. Very much a father-like figure, I could say. But other than that, I appreciate his kinship as well, as another friend. Everin. Everin is a kind soul, definitely, above all else. Though I do sometimes wonder if it is because of Setsuna that her mood can be so tempestuous. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a chaotic way, as I find that she is oftentimes overloaded with emotion, feelings, quirks, and whims at random. I do not know her situation, but I do find it rather, what do you call it, amusing to see her so excited about things such as that. Even then, though, she is a very nice girl. She was very afraid that one night when I had found her on my side of the bed, one of the sides of the bed next to me, she was frankly pale, very afraid. At first I was caught off guard because, well, it is not every day in which you find yourself half naked next to someone else, though I suppose the same can apply to me, Davia, and Jubei. But I suppose in that more quote-unquote intimate setting, it was a bit different. It definitely did catch me off guard. And then with Jubei walking in later, that also caught me off guard. But nonetheless, she is a very kind soul, and I am especially glad to see that she is better and safe. That is what matters, I believe, most. Cassandra, On the other hand, well, I do not know very much about her. She seems to be very objective-based and obsessed with her own work, which is odd. You would think someone with such a broad sense of life would choose to do more with it, but even then, she still does not seem to capture and grasp that ideology. No, not an ideology, a reality. She does not seem to be able to see it quite yet, and I suppose it's only a matter of time until someone takes away these vices that, while she may not understand, control her. They do. But other than that, she seems to be a good soul as well. Davia, from what I've also seen, it's odd. She comes off as very nonchalant, but in a way I can almost see that she cares a deal lot about her party. When the entire thing had happened with Ayla, she seemed to be rather insistent on hurting her, as if in a way she herself felt betrayed by Ayla. I do not know the conditions of whether or not she had trusted her from before, but I do know at least one thing, is that when she began to attack her, it felt less like she was doing it for her own sake, but more so out of the scrutiny and protection of the rest of the group. It was interesting. Her entire being is interesting. I've never met anyone like her, now that I think about it. Oh, and she is also an incredibly strong combatant. I would not think that for a person that I'm a little bit larger than, she is very, very strong. But I cannot comment much else on that. Well, except for the fact that both of them, I believe, Cassandra and and Davia, both outperformed me in the tournament, so that is an aspect. They are admirable for sure. Now, Cinder. I did not get to talk to her very much. I understand that she is a Warforged. Oh, right. 1 second. I'll do Cinder and then I'll go back to Ayla. Cinder. I did not get to conversate very much with her, but I do know very much that she seems to have a bit of a difficulty when it comes to emotion, which is also odd because there are small things that she does that betray that very ideology, that very aspect of herself. I almost wonder if it's either because of a conditioning from before, or if she simply does not allow herself to, in ways, to distance herself from the party. That being said, I have watched as Everin would have the warmest of eyes towards her, as if she were a family member. That being said, it is Everin. Everin does like a lot of the people here, but for someone like Cinder, who portrays themselves as very cold, I do find that the way that they hold one another in their esteem to be very warm in comparison, which is an interesting tie, an interesting duality, so to speak. Ayla. She is another kind soul, whether or not she is willing to accept that as fact or not. Unfortunately, she seems to be very stuck on the idea that she is a bad person, but I do not think that could be even further from the truth. I do not know exactly what she may have done inside of her past, whether she was a vampire or something potentially worse, but the way that I personally interpret it is that Zeros had given her a second chance. By extension, the entire party, even Davia, had given her a second chance in her own way. I think she needs to understand that she herself is redeemable, that she can step away from the sins of her past and turn a new leaf. Unfortunately, I do not think that she will be able to see that quite yet, but I hope that she finds her way soon. I do like her. That would be nice if she finds her way, and I'm sure that the rest will help as well. And then Estevan, the person I had arrived with here. I did not get to talk to him very much. I, again, was under the assumption that friends were not a thing that I was going to be making while getting here, but he helped me open my eyes to that possibility. That being said, however, I hope that he does not dislike me. I personally hold him with medium esteem, considering that he seems to rather like talking with everyone and seems to hold an amicable personality. But I know that while we were talking with Ayla, he had a few words that he had said to me, sometimes direct, sometimes indirect, and they both sounded rather aggravated. I hope that my presence did not startle or anger him. That would be bad, but I can only hope in that particular case. Unfortunately, I am not the bravest when it comes to questioning others for how they view me. It is simply habit at this point to accept how those do. But I do hope that he does not. I do hope that he does not dislike me. But yeah, I think that's all.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh,
Unfortunately, Esteban does yeah, well, not unfortunately, but I don't know why I said it. But S1 has no dislike for Twin.
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, I know that, but
yeah, Twin
Yeah,
doesn't.
Twin's very much like, oh, somebody has seeming hostility towards me. Oh, well, this isn't new. So he just kind of accepts it as is. But oh, who knows? Maybe that conversation will come up later.
mhm.
We shall have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Victor.
Oh, good old Victor. Yeah, let me just get into the right mind frame right here.
Yeah, you have to get into the right frame right now. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a moment. Yeah, just no pressure, okay? Yeah, sure. You know, I'm here to talk about my friends. She is all great, great bunch of kids. Yeah. I guess we should start with Twin. Yeah, he's an interesting fella. Very fascinating. Another one of them people who is brought back by a god and to do the divine work. And I quite like him actually as far as the religious type go. Yeah, he's a good head on his shoulder. Tends to think things through. Doesn't overreact generally. You know what? I tend to very much like him. I'm glad to know he has the open mind about the undead, and that there is nothing wrong with using them to help further the goals of the people around yourself. And if you make a profit on the side, it's not a big deal, right? Yeah, it's no big deal, but definitely
That
a
felt
person.
so emotionally charged.
But good man, yeah, I definitely do like him, and I wish to have many good talks with him. And then there is my good friend Tick. Tick is the top-notch boyo. He is my buddy, bro. We do the science together and do all the interesting experimentings and prodding as the bodies. In fact, our latest experiment is going to be opening up maybe not opening up Cinder's head, but we're definitely going to see if there's an organic brain in there. And I know me and Tick are both really into this and are ready to just, get in there, like, deep down and figure some stuff out. And, maybe with some permission, we could do a little, bit of electroshock therapy to see if we get the leg twitching and such. All in the name of science, of course. Wanda, I have to speak with Tick. Maybe we could combine the necromancy with the technomancy and make, robotic super skeletons, right? Because the skeletons are the power source for the moving. And, that's a good idea. I will have to make that point to talk to him about that. And then there's the sweet boy Jubei. I love the boy. Good head on his shoulder. Does take a little bit of too much responsibility on himself, and tends to be a bit melancholy around the place. Tends to sulk a bit, though. He always does have a good smile with Davia around. Yeah, I don't blame the boy. She's quite nice to look at, so she might be a little crazy in the head, but we'll get to that later. But the fact of the matter is with Jubei is, good boy. It's a shame he is interested in Davia. I really think him and Clarabella would have got along. I mean, obviously he's got a thing for horns, and I said, that was just something that wouldn't have been good. But another time. I still got to see if Twin might be interested. I have to introduce them sometime. I have to remember to do that. And then there's Helene. She seems nice. And that's about all I can say. And Zen's a sweet Evelyn. Oh, what a good little kid she is. Oh, so nice and cheery and always willing to put a smile on the faces of all those around her. Reminds me of my daughters. A bit of Clarabelle too, always willing to make friends and, be there for the people with the emotional support. And, if I ever get a hold of Gaston, I will castrate him and put a fireball up to him until he explodes for trying to harm her the way he did. But, such a good kid. And then there's Cass. What can I say about Cass? Definitely someone I'd like to get to know a better. And apart from her, more than long assets, I had to say she's got quite the mind on her. I'm very curious to pick her brain about some future stuff, and I'm sure she'll be a great asset in helping us with Cinder as well. She obviously has the robotics down, and I think this would be very useful. But apart from that, legs for days. Zenza Davia. Yeah, she's a bit trigger happy. Nice person deep down, I believe. I mean, Jubei sees something there. I'm sure there's something there that's worth seeing. And I mean, she's not, evil per se. But on the plus side, she does willing to listen to the necromantic arts and is willing to get the advantages. Like the fact that I pointed out that when we store the skeletons not in use, we can put them in the vault to guard the treasure. She seemed very open about the idea and was even willing to help me get some bodies. Hopefully one's willing to join. And then there's Ayla. You know what? I give her a hard time. We argue a lot. We always at each other's throats. But honestly, I think of her a bit like a kid. One of my daughters, my third daughter, we used to fight all the time. We had different personalities. But honestly, I think she opens up the most when she's angry and trying to, pick a fight with me. When this, I'd like to push that button. I like to see her leave. And the only way she leaves is that, is if she's screaming at me for some reason. So I let her scream at me. It's good for her. Well, it doesn't really bother me that much. She's nice and a good kid. The blood-sucking vampire thing, so that was a bit of a left curveball. But that's how life works, and, we get it going further. Cinder? Oh, she's a smarty, and definitely one who is very interesting. As we said, I'm so curious to know whether she was a Warforged always, or if she was a person originally. Well, these are questions that I need to have the answers to, so we can further develop the situation. When I'm sure we will. And then there's my good friend Estevan. Now, Estevan is someone I can very get along with. He really understands the necromantic arts. And I have to say, it is always a pleasure to know one who completely agrees that, just because you is using the undead does not mean that it's for evil purposes. And it is a great movement forward to make the world a better place. And I have to admit, I am very, very, very looking forward to visiting his home country, where there are lots of the undead apparently wandering around naturally, or especially if I get a bit more stronger. I could kind of make some of them, you know what? I wouldn't say this around Ayla, but, permanently control them for the betterment of the world. Not to mention, I would love a zombie beholder to ride around on. It'd make life a lot easier so I didn't have to fuck around everywhere. But, good people all about, lots of great kiddos. There you go. There's Victor.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
do you want to go?
Yeah, Helani, you wanted to go?
Yeah.
Oh, yee.
Alright, so I don't know a lot of people, so it's fine, but I'm gonna try to say something about everyone. Alright. I feel weird thinking about Twin. There's a weird feeling here when she places her hand on her chest. Like we're connected somehow. I feel as though I've let Twin down in the tournament by acting too rashly at the end and getting myself knocked out. Overall, we had a good fight. I can't help but think about how cold Twin is. how he feels like the life has left his body when he touched me at the beginning of the tournament.
Let's go right now, twin.
Shh.
Let's go.
God, how Lonnie speak. No,
Continue, continue,
shush.
Lonnie.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
It reminds me of someone. And that's all I have to say about Twin. Now I'm shaking. It's fine. Tick. I haven't had any interaction, nor overly seen any interactions with Tick, besides the battle at the tournament. He was very brave for staying in the battle even after his teammate gave up. I respect him for that. His methods in battle are interesting. Thank you. Jubei, the lord of this place. He seems nice enough, very caring. It was nice of him to invite me to breakfast when I'd only just arrived, and very kind of him to allow me to dine in the presence of himself and his companions, though I'd completely understand if I should ever have to dine elsewhere. He fought well in his battle, but was unable to climb to the top. Victor, again, not much interaction. I don't entirely agree with his hobby, necromancy. How do you know that you're not going to prevent the safe passage of their souls by meddling with their bodies? How are you so sure that you are not disturbing that soul? What if you affect their quality of life after death, causing them to become a homeless soul, wandering eternally instead of joining with their loved ones in death? Instead, they are just wandering corpses forced to do the bidding of others unwillingly. These bodies were someone's loved ones. How would they feel about their bodies being used this way? How would you feel if someone you loved was being used as an animated slave? Well, enough about that. It frustrates me that he and his companion Ayla forfeit the fight in the tournament. That's a coward's move. Why join the tournament if you're only going to forfeit the first fight? I didn't come here to have my opponents forfeit. I came here to get stronger and to better myself. Yep. Evren! Evren is amazing. She is amazing in battle. She is so strong. I feel bad for calling her slumber party childish, but it is. I feel like I can relate to Evren with what happened with Exarch. I hope to talk to her about certain things and maybe even to attempt to provide her some form of comfort. Cass. She has been interesting in battle. However, her herself is someone I've not really interacted with. She reminds me of someone just a little bit, and that makes me feel uneasy. Davia. She is absolutely gorgeous. Intimidating. Other than that, I don't know much about her. She seems strong in battle and completely capable. Ayla. I don't know. I don't know with Ayla. I don't like that she forfeit, but she seems nice enough. I don't know what else to say about that.
They haven't interacted much.
It's like I'm not sure how much Halani knows about the recent stuff that's going on, so I'm like, I don't know what to say entirely right now.
That is fair.
She tried to drink my blood earlier. I thought that was rude.
Cinder. I haven't interacted with Cinder, but she's interesting being a warforged and all. I don't know what to say about that as of yet, but she fought well in battle, though she has room for improvement. Esteban. Seems kind. He's gone out of his way to speak with me. I've particularly grown fond of his rings, which I totally have not drawn in my drawing book. He steps a bit too close to home for my comfort, but in battle he disappointed me with his forfeit. how you're supposed to grow stronger and test your limits, and if you give up in battle, which when the battle is completely free of consequence. And that's it. Unless I
Woo!
forgot someone and I'm
Yeah.
gone.
I didn't know Everett had that much impact on her. Oh my gosh.
I'm crying. I'm
Thank
crying.
you. Can I hug you, maybe?
No,
I was like, I want to step in and talk to Everett, but then I was like, people are doing things.
Hilani
It's
was a little bit.
okay.
I'm like, ah.
Hilani
Just
was
be
a
like-
little bit under the radar because you showed up a little bit later, so you weren't given like proper character introduction. But with this, it's like the whole fucking Mulan. Now all of China knows you're here. Like everyone's locked on you.
I'm just saying, if you ever want to talk, I am more than happy to.
You just gotta beat down the fucking wall. It's like,
Yeah.
it's Kalani, bitch!
It's Kalani time. Just come on, you can do that. It's okay.
Yeah, but that also makes me feel a lot of pressure. I'm like, I just told everyone to shut up so I can
No.
speak, and now I'm like, ah.
But what you have to say is important to us.
You have the floor. It's your turn. We all had our turn. You are on our side equals. It's your
Yes,
turn.
you are very important. We care about you and your character, and we want to know more.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have a lot of words. You made fun of my character, so I'm gonna go cry.
Character and you. I don't even know how to feel.
Oh my god! It's, I
Twin,
just
you
think
need a hug. It's okay. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay.
No, Cass.
Okay. Oh dear. Being put on blast. Let's go. Twin. Well, he seems to be caring of me as everyone does. It's interesting, I suppose, but unneeded since she usually does what he's already suggesting. She seems a bit stressed about it though, and she keeps telling me that I need to take care of myself, which I am. But I'll think about it. Maybe write it down in my book somewhere. Next, Tick, I suppose. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's weird and seems to like my invention, I suppose. I don't understand why. It's very simple creation, not something that I did my life's work into. I did put some of it in there, but mostly what I'm working on is making a human. And of course, being able to control people with my strings is always nice. Davia's body is very interesting.
Understatement of the year.
Hell yeah, it is.
Jubei, I haven't really had the chance to get acquainted with him yet, but she's like looking, she's practically like making an image of him in her mind, and she's just like nodding, very like appreciative of it. Like he's sculpted like a Roman god. That's something that I'm very interested in. No, let's just say I'm not interested in him in that way, but possibly making him the base of what I'm looking for as human perfection is the closest I've seen so far. I wish I teamed with him instead of Davia, but Davia is a close second, I suppose.
Them's fighting words.
He does seem nice enough, but nothing about him seems interesting so far besides his physique. Victor, though, he's very short. He seems to always want to include me in everything that he does, and while I do appreciate it, I am busy and I do have work to do, but I suppose if there is work to be done with what he is asking me to join him with, I suppose then having a research partner isn't always too bad, but I don't trust him with whatever I'm working on. I know what happened last time. Halani, though, I've seen her. She's very flexible. I might want to put my strings around her one day. See what her body can do, I suppose, would be interesting. Davia, you know, a local woman, I suppose. She does have a better shape and physique than other females do, but nothing special, I suppose. But I suppose some of it is very interesting with what kind of damage she can output, but she isn't what I'm looking for. Ayla, though, I don't know what's going on with her, nor am I much interested in what she is. But if a vampire is what she is, then I might need to see what else she's able to do. I might be more interested in her than I thought I'd be. Cinder. I don't know why people are talking about it like it's a human. Doesn't have feelings. It shouldn't have feelings. There's something wrong with it. Probably need to fix that now. Besides that, I need to get the working in order, probably. Maybe even make it under my control. Might be a bit hard though, but I'm sure I can reprogram it somehow. Now, Esteban, he seemed to have talked to me once, but besides that, he didn't really show an interest in me. I don't trust him in the least bit, nor do I like him. I don't really like anyone here. But with that said, I don't find anything interesting about him. He is boring, manipulative, but that's only about human emotions, and that's already easy to manipulate, but I don't see why that is even necessary. He's nothing, but his status does have something in mind to his people. I might just get close to him to see what is about him and the vampires, but besides that, no one here is as interesting, I suppose, but I'll keep an eye on Jubei. That's kind
Woo! Woo!
of it. Sorry if it was weird. Wait, why are you?
Yay!
No, I
What?
love it.
That was
You
great.
do?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
because it's his character, and you got all y'all do the thing so well, and it's
What
just
do you?
it's so nice to
What do
hear.
you mean?
Because I haven't been able to interact so much with this character very much, except of course with like Twin in this particular case. And it's just nice to see that she has her very own set of hot takes when it comes to everybody, even going as far as calling a specific someone perfect. But like also, again, the very fun Davia's body is interesting.
Or how I'd like to get my strings wrapped around Helene and see what I can perform.
Right?
The double
Alrighty.
entendres were amazing.
Cassandra saying that Davia's body is interesting had the same energy of Twin saying that he was surprised with Jubei and Everin. Like that was same energy.
She called her hot, that's all she needed.
No, Cass was surprised. What Cass meant was that she was surprised at the make of Davi in the beginning, how she was a bit more refined than other women, and that was saying that was the only good quality about her. She wasn't interested in Davi ever since.
I'm still taking the
That
W.
isn't important to her. Beauty isn't important to her.
I
And
do
she
like the
thinks she's
fact that the
second rate
first
to Jubei.
Oh. That was slow to hit me.
Yeah, that's what she meant. What were you saying, Jubei?
I was just saying I love the fact that her first description of Victor is he's short.
Oh, because
Yeah, I
she's
love
tall.
I know.
All right, Ayla. Okay. Ahem.
Oh dear, of course, it's my turn. Um, I suppose I'll start with Tick. I haven't really had the benefit of really talking to him all that much just yet. But I'm sure he's a very nice Kenku? I believe that was what he was called. I'm not very well educated on the area of Kenku, but I hope I have accidentally said anything to offend him yet. I will try my best not to. It's a little disappointing that he seems to get along so well with Victor, but to each their own, I suppose. And it's interesting to know that Kenku seemed to be so interested in the art of science and such. It makes me sort of wonder if he might be interested in medicine. If so, I would be more than happy to share some of my knowledge if he wanted. I'm also very fascinated by his ability to copy voices and copy what he hears from people. So, if he ever wished to have sort of a long conversation, I would be more than happy to share some just, I don't know, random sentences to maybe expand upon his vocabulary, and if it would be helpful, of course. I don't want to presume that he would even need my help. It was interesting to see his fight. He seems to be very determined, despite how the odds seem to have been against him during his battle. The fact that he wanted to continue fighting, I find that very admirable. I really should try to find the opportunity to talk to him sometime, though with everything that's been sort of happening recently, that hasn't really been an option. Oh, looks down at feet, shakes head. But
Baby, no.
hopefully things get a little better. Hopefully, so I might be able to get the chance to talk to him. Right. Next person, Twin. I was very excited to meet Twin at first. I honestly thought it was fate, and that our gods made our meeting, it was destined to happen, and I was just so ecstatic and just for the longest time I thought I was the only one of my sort, and meeting another person who, well, I at least thought was in a similar situation to me, I was very happy, but now I sort of realize that perhaps that wasn't the case, and apparently I'm not actually the same thing, and I'm actually something entirely different. Continuing on, he has been very kind to me, and I very much enjoy the occasional hug that he has requested, though I'm very uncertain as to whether or not I should even do so at the moment, since learning more about his background has made me a little nervous that perhaps our fates are entwined in more ways than one, and if that's the case, then he really should not come anywhere near me. I do not wish to dirty him. He is a very good person and very nice and very sweet, and I again, just another person I very much hope I get the chance to talk to more if possible, even though I very much don't really deserve it, but no, sorry, let me rewind that sentence. I would very much like to talk to him another time, and I will end that sentence there, right, of course. Jubei has been very kind to me as well. He has given me a lot of very helpful advice. I'm still a little nervous around him, to be quite frank. What with him having the title of Lord and everything, well, he's sort of on the totem pole in terms of power here. He's sort of way up there, and I understand my placement here, so it is a little uncomfortable at times to talk to him. Not to say that that's his fault, of course. He's very, very nice, very kind person, and I'm very grateful for the times where he wishes to talk to me. I get this sort of sense, though, I make him uncomfortable as well sometimes, which I'm trying really hard to fix that. I seem to make a lot of people uncomfortable. No, scratch that. Why is this so difficult? Okay, but he's very strong and very smart, and I believe he makes a very good leader. It is thanks to him that I sort of am able to understand Davia at least a little more. From what it sounds like, she's a lot different around him, so I can be a little more forgiving. And I'm very much envious of the way that people sort of just approach Jubei, and he's very easy to speak with and a very relaxing person. And I honestly, I have a lot. I could learn a lot from him, to be quite frank. Victor. Despite our differences and disagreements, and how being in the very same room as him is often nauseating at times, I don't think he's necessarily a bad person, per se. He's clearly a very good father and cares very much for his kids, which I can respect that at the very least. And he's very intelligent as well. Honestly, I believe he could do so much more with that intelligence than worry about necromancy, but I have stated my opinion on that matter many times, and clearly, he's not very interested in listening to that, so there's not much that can be helped. But, at the very least, if he is going to continue with the necromancy, it would be nice if maybe he could dabble in some other areas where his brightness and intelligence could greatly benefit people, and not just himself. But again, I'm once again very envious at the fact that people seem to swarm to him and want to talk to him and be around him. I suppose I should try to do a bit more studying on how he manages to do that as well. I asked him, but he sort of had trouble explaining it, and I sort of had trouble understanding it. Alright, so next person, Halani. I unfortunately have not had the chance to really talk to her all that much. She's, a very pretty girl, and I'm sure she's very nice too. I will have to try to find the chance to speak with her. What with the day that she arrived, there were so many newcomers. I haven't really had the opportunity, and with what's going on recently, that's sort of gotten in the way too. But based off of the small bit of interaction I've had with her, she definitely does seem to be a nice person, nice, respectable sort, and I'm sure she's lovely to be around. So, Cass, again, a person I'm not very well acquainted with. She seems very smart. There's a lot of very intelligent people here. I'm very much starting to realize. A little intimidating, but that's okay. Perhaps I'll get the chance to talk to her as well. Though I get the sense that she doesn't really much care for me or for my being around her, so I don't want to bother her, so I guess I should sort of try to get a feel of an opportunity when she might want to talk to me, where it doesn't seem like I'd be bothering her. I'll have to look into that a bit. Moving on, Everin. Everin is a very, very sweet person. I've been very worried about her, what with everything that's been going on, and I don't have time to worry about myself, especially with all that ridiculousness that had been going on with her and Gaston, and I'm just glad that she's okay and that she's here and that nothing bad happened, and, well, bad things did happen, but at the very least, she's still with us, and she has been a very good friend to me, and I'm very grateful for that, and she was the first person that ever was willing to listen to my rants about Zeros. I know that tends to bother people a lot, so I've been very grateful to her, and the fact that she's been wanting to listen to me, even despite my ramblings, and she seems to like having me around as well, so that's good too. I will continue to do my best to keep her safe and make sure that she's protected and healthy and happy, since she gets nervous very quickly and overwhelmed by scenarios, so there's not really much that I can do about that, but at the very least, I hope I can be a person that she feels comfortable coming to and speaking to when things are bothering her. Moving on, Cinder. I've only really had the chance to talk to her once. She's very quiet and stoic and seems to prefer keeping to herself. I feel it for her, to be quite frank. I'm a little worried. She seems to have a very set belief in that it's okay if she gets hurt or injures herself or risks her health or life or whatever else, and it's very concerning to see, and I really wish that she would understand that even if she is a what's it called, warforge? I'm not very familiar with what that is exactly, but no matter what she may be, her life has just as much meaning and value as everyone else here, and I'm hoping that maybe she'll come to understand that. I really do. Perhaps I should try talking to her more. Maybe I might be able to, I don't know, offer some sort of word. Not that it really mean anything, but I don't know. Anyway, she's very. It seems she's very strong, and I'm very much impressed by her magical capabilities. I wonder if she'd be willing to share at some point. Not any sort of magic that I could probably ever do, but still, it's very fascinating to. Moving on, Esteban. I am very grateful to have met him. He seems to be very kind and easy to talk to, and honestly, Victor told me that I need to learn how to have more fun, and for a really long time I was sort of struggling to understand what he meant by that, and I tried doing my research and stuff into it, but I just wasn't really able to wrap my head around it. But I think when I'm around Esteban, the sensation that I feel is what is called fun. Which, if my studies are correct, I believe is the case. In which case, again, I'm very much grateful to him for that. Even though I get nervous around him as I do with everyone else, I've been finding myself starting to relax around him a bit more. He's very easy to talk to, though that seems to be one of his very many skills that he apparently seems to have. A great many skills. I hope he's willing to teach me more of what he knows. I really hope so. What else is there to say? I'm also rather worried about him, too. I understand that the party seems not really... Well, there's a mixture of people not seeming to like him or trust him, or many feelings around those areas, but strangely enough, I think I do trust him. Normally I don't really trust people that easily, but I find him trustworthy, surprisingly enough, even if at times the way that he talks and smiles at people isn't entirely from the heart. I still feel that deep down he is a good person. And it's not as if every single time that he's done that it's been fake. There's been times where it seemed very genuine. But there seems to be something that's bothering him and that's on his mind, and I really hope, there's been a couple of times where it seemed like he might open up about it, but if he's not ready, then that's okay. I hope at some point he might be able to trust, even if not me, one of us well enough to share whatever it is that's bothering him or is on his mind. But yeah, I hope to get his help as well with all this vampire nonsense. Shoulders drooping, looking down again. But anyway, I believe that's everyone. Okay, back to work. Sorry, goodbye. Running off.
It was so cute. Oh my god, we did everyone.
Yeah. Well,
What?
that's Esteban.
Wait, Esteban's not gonna say anything though.
Man, that episode
I-
was skipping.
I feel like
Face
since
value
everyone
stuff?
has given all their the thing everyone's given their inner I feel like it's only justice that I do Esteban
Woo.
thoughts.
Yes, yes.
This is not this is on the assumption that he's not doing it to an audience. That
No,
is
no.
directly
Okay.
to his
Just to
parents.
himself.
Yeah.
This is something that he would probably be writing in a journal for his parents. Well, all right. Let's start with twins. On arrival, Twin interested me with some light conversation, and as I learned about him, what interested me was his connection. At first, I was rather suspect, as my family are. So, well, as you both are vampires, and he seemed to not like those who treat life as if it was some sort of toy. I know that for certain in our country exactly what we do. I'm interested in learning about what happened in his past, these people. From what I've learned, he seems like a genuine and nice person. And I don't think there will be any issues. However, if something should arise and he poses a risk to our family, know exactly what to do. Tick.
Hot. You're welcome. Anyway.
It was interesting to meet him. I found that it was often quite music to my ears to hear my now accent repeated. As for the tournament, I feel that although I knew that I couldn't go any further, I was literally a blow away from being knocked unconscious. I know when to step down and take a step back, use a tactical retreat. It seems like he did not understand. I made it clear to him that what I did was rather cowardly. Though, in true fashion, if this was an actual combat simulation, stepping back sometimes correct step. And I know for what I did that it was. Regardless, I feel that he is probably still harboring mild distaste. I foresee ways that he might get back to me in small ways, and I will watch my back around him, as I have done always with anyone. Jubei. I must admit at first, it was interesting to see the way he lords over his. He has mentioned that he is not quite particularly fond of the position he is. He has also mentioned that he has appointed Everin, second man. which I honestly find quite foolish. I must admit, at first, I was particularly interested in perhaps persuading my way in lordship. But as I've grown to know him, he seems quite in his own.
You're breaking up there, Cinder.
He seems. Where should I go?
Yeah, basically he seems. I lost
Ah.
everything. I couldn't hear anything.
He seems honorable in his own ways. There are moments where he would rather cheat to benefit the good of him, which is what I do as well. But that is exactly why I must be cautious. Because I am anyone who has, or at least knows how to play the game, I must be cautious of. But for what it stands, I believe he is a good man, and I do not foresee any issues in the future. I am rather interested in learning what exactly happened with his hand. And I'm curious as to who did this, and what they're capable of. Perhaps how they could be exploited. Victor, an interesting fellow, one of gnomish heritage. He seems to be quite interested in necromancy. Perhaps for a somewhat small reason as to he's focused on it so he can create a inn and bar for those to stay at. But regardless, he is quite knowledgeable in his own right, and he has a way of trying to understand people. He has this knowledgeable insight about him of knowing what makes people tick. I will be wary of how exactly he interacts with me. I have a feeling that when things start to come to surface, there will be questions asked. And it is possible that he will be asking quite a lot of, or at least know a way, or see a break, demeanor. But other than that, he seems rather friendly. Halani. Although I've only interacted with her for a few moments, she seems quite interested in the tournament. A fighter. She also seemed quite interested about my rings. Her eyes lingered upon them. Sometime. Also, when I mentioned my family, it is possible that she has perhaps connections, ties with her own family. Depending on what that is, I do not know, but I am eager to find out. Other than that, I am interested in learning more about her. But she seems to hold a lot of pieces close to her chest. I will have to be wary. Everin. What can I say about Evren? First of all, she is, as most would say, extremely friendly and possibly gets too much in someone else's, which is something that I value quite a lot. There are times where I find her child. There are times where I find that a lot of the things that she does, a lot of the things that she says are perhaps contradictory. I'm not quite sure about her at the moment, but I know that she is not one to manipulate. She's just a wild card. That is something that I have need to take into consideration. But at least she is an honest wild card. Regardless, she cares a lot about her friends, and I highly doubt that she will perhaps do anything too drastic. But if she betrays my trust, I know exactly who to call. Cass. Cass is rather interesting. She seems really focused on her machinations. She doesn't pay much attention to the world around her, which for me, that is a good. I'm curious in learning more about where exactly she comes from, the technology, and her abilities. I admit I have not interacted as much with her as I would like to have, since I don't really have a goal to work on what to find out. But I'll find it. Everyone has a secret. Davia. That is definitely a game that I do enjoy playing. However, I must be wary on what exactly I say around her. I figure that for what it's worth, she knows exactly how to play the game, although in a different way. She feels as if there is no use for them, there is no need to play up any false pretense. As you know, I have always found that rather dumb. If they don't know what your true intentions are, they will never know until it crumbles down beneath them. But for now, I'm interested in learning more about her pirate's past. She seems perhaps a little brash, angry, egotistical. But that I feel like I was describing myself. I'll have to keep an eye on her. Ayla.
Looking in a mirror.
Ayla has been the one to open my eyes about this group. There is a lot of things going on around her, things that she perhaps doesn't know or perhaps wants to push back. But she is a very honest and kind individual who puts too much pressure on herself, worries too much. I do not believe she will pose a risk. I do want to help her. As you know, I've told you about her affliction. And I know what they do to pharaohs in our country. And if they were to find out, things will not be good for either of us. I hope she manages to find happiness. Out of everyone here, I believe she's been lacking it the most. She deserves it. I have to keep an eye on her to make sure that things get out of hand. Cinder. She seems rather interested. For what I can tell, there's been emotional outbursts. Especially from what I saw today out in the field. There seems to be more about her. At first I thought it was a simple construct. Something that I don't really need to work out. They just follow orders. But she has her own mind. And perhaps something else. I can't quite put my finger on what I would like to. There is definitely something eating away at her in her past that either she's pushing back. I have no idea. I am not quite knowledgeable of what. In any case, it seems like there might be things arising about her that will be discussed by the rest. I'll have to make sure I pay close attention to it. And as for myself, it has been an interesting few days. I hope everything is well back home. And I will always remember that I will always have the upper hand. But I do not think anyone here will betray my trust. Need to do it. I hope you all are well.
Oh my god.